Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday Morning Show. Now, here's Joe Concha.
And welcome, everybody, on this Sunday morning, the day after the greatest in U.S. history. One can make the argument of July 4th because of America's 250. I mean, it was all over the airwaves yesterday. The flyovers, the firework displays, just far and wide. I'll give it to you this way. I'm in Long Beach Island, New Jersey, and we went on a Ferris wheel just before fireworks started going off in the town that we are in, a place called Beach Haven. And when you get to the top of the Ferris wheel, you could see a very large radius from above, probably about a 20-mile radius, because we could see fireworks all the way from Seaside Heights, New Jersey, which is a good 20 miles away. And then just all across the bay, you could see different towns doing different fireworks displays, and you couldn't help but get chills up your spine. And obviously, we had the big celebration in New York City with the 250 ball drop. We had obviously what happened in Washington, D.C., where they had horrific weather, as has been happening through a lot of the Northeast, with thunderstorms, unfortunately, dampering and delaying everything that people wanted to see as far as the Trump celebration at the Washington Mall. And at one point, they had to delay it. It was supposed to start at, the usual time, sometime in the evening. And then it was announced that perhaps this would get delayed until today, July 5th. But Trump insisted that since it was July 4th, you only get one 250, that he would stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning, if necessary, to do a speech marking this event. Weather be damned. Sure enough, they were able to get it off at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Here's Bret Baier, Fox News, talking about his conversation with the president as far as his determination to do that America 250 speech. Because, as he says here, if they could storm the beaches of Normandy, we can do a speech. Cut number 18, go.
Trump, he said those veterans had to go through bad weather on D-Day. I'm going through bad weather. No matter what happens, I am delivering this speech. We are going to do this program. Maybe it'll be a little bit shorter, but I'm going to do it, whether it's 10 or 11 or 2 a.m. And I said, Mr. President, there might not be anybody here. He said, I don't care. It's America 250. If they can storm the beaches of D-Day, on D-Day, I can deliver a speech and we can keep this program going. Now, he said, you got to be safe. You got to make sure everybody's okay.
And there you go. And he did the speech at 11 p.m. Eastern. And after started so many hours later, you would think that we would have a situation where, maybe a couple hundred people were around. And instead, an estimated crowd of 175,000 were still there. And while they were waiting, singing the national anthem, singing God Bless America, again, the patriotism that you see everywhere, not just in Washington, D.C., but in towns across the country. It's just really remarkable. Here is part of that Trump speech at the National Mall, and he bought his fastball, even at 11 p.m. at night. This is cut number 19. Go.
People have done more good, shown more courage, made more progress, righted more injustice, or achieved more greatness than you, the American people. For 250 years, the United States of America has been the hope, the promise, the light, and the glory among all of the nations of the world. All over the world, they try and be like us. Nobody can be like us. And with God's help, we will always be this or even better. We're going to be better. Here in our National Mall, we're celebrating freedom's triumph over tyranny, liberty's conquest over oppression, and the enduring victory of the American spirit from the July 4th, 1776 to July 4th, 2026. Big dates. That's big dates. Two big ones. And tonight our country is stronger, freer, richer, safer, and prouder than ever before. But it all started with the miracle of history that lives forever in the heart of every single patriot. In Philadelphia, our founding fathers summoned the courage of giants and the wisdom of centuries to boldly proclaim these timeless truths. They declared that all men are created equal.
All men are created equal. And again, you hear the crowd, you hear the enthusiasm. And this is very, very late into the night. A drenched crowd, obviously, from all the rain, having to shelter in place wherever they could, and then get back to the mall and hear what will be a speech that will go down as one of Trump's greatest speeches of all time, just because of the endurance. His whole staff saying, let's just do this tomorrow. It's okay. It's still the weekend. And he says, no, this has to be done on July 4th. Let's compare that to if Kamala Harris was giving a 250 speech. And this is an address that she gave while she was vice president. And listen to the contrast between celebrating America's exceptionalism and greatness. Yes, we're not a perfect nation, right? But what is perfect? And we, in the end, are the greatest nation that has ever been created. Kamala Harris had a different view in cut number 22. Go.
Since 1934, every October, the United States has recognized the voyage of the European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas. But that is not the whole story. That has never been the whole story. Those explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations, perpetrating violence, stealing land, and spreading disease. We must not shy away from this shameful past, and we must shed light on it and do everything we can to address the impact of the past on Native communities today.
So what happened something like more than 300 years ago, then we should still talk about the impact that it is having on this country. And that's the kind of speech you would have got if she somehow won a couple of swing states in that election in 2024. How about Joe Biden, who was president at the time in 2021, talking about, hey, if everybody gets vaccinated, maybe, just maybe, we can get small groups together on July 4th. Again, this isn't July 4th, 2020. This is a year and a half later saying,
I need you to get vaccinated when it's your turn and when you can find an opportunity. And to help your family, your friends, your neighbors get vaccinated as well. Because here's the point. If we do all this, if we do our part, if we do this together, by July the 4th, there's a good chance you, your families and friends will be able to get together in your backyard or in your neighborhood and have a cookout or a barbecue and celebrate Independence Day. That doesn't mean large events with lots of people together, but it does mean small groups will be able to get together.
So if it's 5 or less and you're outdoors and they're 6 inches apart, maybe you could kind of have July 4th, only if you get vaccinated, however. That was the message a year and a half after COVID began from President Trump's predecessor. All right, let's get back to Trump and his speech at the National Mall. Here it is on how he defeated the British 45 years ago, because we declared our independence 250 years ago. We didn't win that war until 1781, as we know, at Yorktown. And then the battle that we have before us today, maybe not militarily, but in defeating the communists who are attempting to take over this country. And cut number 20, go.
They were the greatest power of the world, and they surrendered, and that was the beginning. Ever since, the entire world has been on notice that Americans will never let anyone take our freedom away. It won't happen. And all these talks from the communists, they haven't got a chance. Not even a chance. We don't want communists in our country. Never worked, and it never will work.
And that's so true. I mean, that is the 2026 midterms. It's definitely the 2028 presidential election. And you can say, oh, come on, Joe, it's just a couple of communists that won in New York City, in Seattle, Washington, in Washington, D.C., now in Denver, Colorado. Okay, these are deep blue districts that these people won in. And the big litmus test, as Brian Kilmeade pointed out to me on Fox and Friends when I joined from Liberty State Park, what a set. If you've seen Fox over the last couple of days, as far as what we had with the Statue of Liberty in the background or the Freedom Tower in the background, the water looking like we're in the Caribbean, as blue as can be. It was hot, all right? I'll say, first day I got there with a suit, and the VIP at Fox, a very important person, says, Joe, next time you don't have to wear the suit. You can come in a kind of polo kind of shirt. I mean, it was pretty unbearable. Now, on the set, our staff did such an awesome job. Again, this is makeshift stuff. This isn't permanent sets that they have at Liberty Square Park. You have to construct it from scratch. And they were able just to pump in through generators and air, even though it's an outdoor set, just enough to keep you cool. And these guys worked tirelessly when they weren't getting the cool air pumped on them. Then they had to take down that set last night to make way, obviously, or yesterday afternoon to make way for all the people that wanted to watch the fireworks over the Hudson. Just, again, a shout out to the Fox News staff for the incredible job that they did there. Anyway, on that set, on Fox and Friends, Brian Kilmeade, who hosts a show on here, of course, in New York on WABC, did point out that in Michigan, Abdul al-Saeed, he is a socialist, obviously Democrat socialist, has said some, again, very radical things as it pertains to 9/11, as it pertains to Israel, as it pertains to defunding the police, all these things that the American people should and will reject, especially now. Again, all these socialists, communists, have run against no one from the Republican side. They win primaries against establishment Democrats who are an endangered species right now. But if they have to get to a general election in a place like Michigan, purple state that Trump won, against a Mike Rogers who's very capable on the Republican side, if an al-Saeed wins there, then then it's a 5-alarm fire. If he doesn't win there, then this socialist threat will be contained to American cities. Same goes for the race in Maine and the Nazi tattoo guy, Graham Plattner, who is now trailing in several polls to Susan Collins after leading by double digits. He's going in the wrong direction because he's playing defense. And the worst thing for any politician, he has been defined, and not in a good way, and his unfavorables are through the roof. He will not win there as well. But if they both win, look out. Then start getting worried. Until then, if Democrats want to buy into the socialist, free fantasy dream, then go ahead and nominate an AOC, and she'll lose 51 states. Mathematically impossible, but I'm calling it now. Anyway, this is Joe Concha. This is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday Morning Show. Back with so much more in just a moment.
It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday Morning Show. It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday Morning Show. Now, here's Joe Concha.
All right, everybody, on this glorious Sunday morning, July 5th. Hope you had a great one yesterday. I mean, it was just I get it was hot. It was. And I'm even at the shore where the ocean temperature is somewhere around 68. So if you're right near the ocean, it's the greatest air conditioner ever. If you're in the shade, it was bearable. If you were in the sun, oh boy, that was a toughie. Meanwhile, regardless, we're loving America right now. And it's partly because we hear so many people who are coming from other areas of the world all these different countries. 10 million people will come here for the World Cup when all is said and done. It is the greatest tournament that I have ever seen. And again, regardless of whether the games are close and there's a lot of drama or not, and the U.S. doing as well as it's done in many, many years, when we hear from foreigners that come here, it should be an absolute blaring neon sign saying, you don't know how good you have it here. And if you don't like it, leave and go for that socialist utopia in some other country. And you tell me how you like the air conditioning over there, how you like the health care over there, how you like the taxes over there. Again, they don't know any better, so they just complain. These are isolated people more and more on the left who live in their phones, scream on social media, don't have families, and as a result are angry at the system and thinks if you just burn down the system and bring in all these radical ideas that their lives will somehow be more fulfilling and they'll be more happy. And that's simply not the case. Anyway, let's hear from this one German fan. This is an NBC report, okay, talking about how much he loves the USA and just how friendly and hospitable we are. And more importantly, everything you heard in the media is completely not true as far as this being a horrible, racist, violent, sexist, fascist country. And cut number 14, go.
Sorry. It makes you teary. Why? Help us understand. Why is it so impactful to you?
Sebastian Krauts never imagined his trip to America would be so emotional.
Yeah. No, you're human. Happy tears. Yeah.
In just a few weeks being here,
I fall in love with this country, and this was so emotional. I even cried in the stadium.
It's a huge departure from what he was expecting before traveling to follow the German soccer team in its World Cup run.
To be honest, I was a bit scared or had the fear to travel to the United States. News about shootings and criminals and that the country is not safe. Bob takes us home. Straight. America is great.
Sebastian met a group of strangers who offered him a ride to his hotel.
What is the best city?
Boston. That's Bob Series and his family, New Englanders who showed a group of Germans that Boston is warmer than some might believe.
Bob, thank you so much. Love USA.
Enjoy your time in the U.S.
Oh, speaking of MS now, before we go to break, here's Al Sharpton talking about, well, could you imagine founding father, one of the most famous, if this person tried to overthrow the government back then? Cut number 10, go.
And can you imagine our reading that James Madison or Thomas Jefferson tried to overthrow the government so they could stay in power? That's what we're looking at. We're looking at American history.
Al, I mean, this person has been on national television and gets paid a lot of money for many years, is an absolute moron. All right? It's not a racist comment. He could be a white guy, an Indian. I don't care. Here's the memo, Al. Rev. Jefferson and Madison did overthrow the government. It's the whole friggin' point of what we're celebrating 250 for. What if Jefferson tried to overthrow the government? The guy literally wrote the document that did it. Oh, never mind. Sorry to yell on a Sunday morning. I just can't get over the fact what people say. And there were 4 other people around that table just nodding their heads. Yeah, imagine if Jefferson tried to overthrow a government. Yeah, boy, I can't. Oh, anyway, this is Joe Concha. This is the Sunday morning Tunnel to Towers Foundation show. Back with so much more intelligent conversation in just a moment.
Trying to be a bit more mindful of things you buy? For you and your family? Well, when it comes to laundry, choose All Free Clear. 100% free from dyes and perfumes. All Free Clear uses only essential ingredients that tackle tough stains and odors. And it's gentle on the skin. It's a powerful clean you can feel good about. So go on, pick up a bottle of All Free Clear for your next laundry day.
It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Now, here's Joe Concha.
And welcome back, everybody. So, as you probably heard, but it's worth playing for this show once again, Zoran Mamdani thinks, and he probably is actually, who are we kidding? He's the leader of the Democrat Party now. And when President Trump on Thursday was going to do a speech at Mount Rushmore and did, hours before that, Mamdani said, you know what? I'm going to do a pre-buttal. Didn't say it, but let's face it, like the symbolism was completely and totally there. The Mamdani team put out a press release saying that mayor was going to do this address from the George Washington desk that they have at Gracie Mansion. And then they make a note that, by the way, the George Washington desk is even older than the Resolute desk. And that's what's in the Oval Office. And that's where Trump can do some speeches for him and obviously sits in the Oval Office. That was the whole thing. Like, hey, we're going to one-up you here, pal. And meanwhile, Mamdani, I'm pretty sure in that City Hall address they did on Thursday, I don't think the temperature was set to 78 degrees. As a matter of fact, New York Post did some great reporting on this, saying that Gracie Mansion, City Hall, he went through several rooms. He had a thermometer with him, so to speak, like an indoor one, and found that every room was nice, including one that was set below 60 degrees. Oh, but Mamdani wants you to raise yours to 78. Rules for thee, not for D's, as in Dems, or in this case, DSAs, Democrat Socialists of America. Anyway, here's Mamdani going off on the 4th of July, going off on America in general, not so much the 4th of July, but again, this is a flavor of what you'll get if you elect one of these people to an even higher office. You'll get crap, and this is crap like this. And cut number 6, go.
As we mark 250 years, what do we see? We see a city of contradictions within a nation of contradictions. We see the wealthiest country in the history of the world, one where children go to sleep hungry while the world's first trillionaire hungers for more. We see monopolies that dominate every industry and oligarchs who buy elections. We see masked agents terrorizing our streets, eating food cooked by our undocumented neighbors before spiriting them away in unmarked vans. We see a nation whose immense wealth has been built by those with calloused, dirt-streaked hands, those who toil on factory floors and chisel into stone. And we see a nation that has allowed so much of that wealth to be held instead in the soft hands of a precious few.
Right, anybody who makes above X, take that money and just give it away to other people, if that even happens, as we saw in Minneapolis, as we saw in places like California, Ohio. You give the government money, it doesn't automatically mean it's going to go towards all these wonderful things that Democrat politicians who run those states and cities will promise. Mamdani wants to raise property taxes. He says he has to do that because, well, how else are you going to pay for all the free stuff that he promised? Where is the free child care? All right, let's see. We're in July. We're now 7 months after he came into office. And I don't see any free child care. Where's that free busing? When is that coming? Oh, right. That hasn't come either. And we could go down the list in terms of all the things that this person has promised and will not be able to deliver on unless he raises taxes. And even if he does, they may still not come to fruition anyway. And oh, by the way, when the government runs something, even if they do put money towards something, it doesn't work. I'm making an argument that goes back decades. The point is that this is the contrast that we are now dealing with. And Donnie Deutsch, of all people, on MS Now, of all places, says that socialists like Mamdani and all these other people that he endorses will be an absolute disaster for Democrats. And he said this on MS Now. It's a miracle. Cut number 9, go.
Well, Democrats are going off the rails. They're not even focused. What matters to people is affordability. And Democrats right now are focused on two things. They're focused on anti-Semitism and socialism. And the Republicans are going to tar them with this. This is the problem. Even though they are a small sector of the party, this is right now, every Republican strategist is salivating on what these people have said in the past. And they're going to wallpaper it with it. And the Democrats are going down a bad path. They're electing these Democratic socialists. It's a disaster, no matter what you think of it.
It is. It totally is, guys. And again, Democrats, you hear every soundbite. The memo completely went out. It's a big tent, and we're up for new ideas. Oh, anti-Semitism, is that a new idea? Because that's what you're embracing. You're embracing that people reject. Again, like abolishing the police, like making comes here, regardless of their status. A naturalized citizen. Not a naturalized, but a regular citizen. This girl, Darrelisa Chevrolet, who's going to represent New York in Congress, actually has said that if you kill someone, maybe you shouldn't go to jail if you're black or Latino because you've been oppressed and you're just working out your stress from being oppressed. All right, this is stuff that Democrats cannot defend. And whenever they're asked to defend it, all they go back to is big tent, and we're just welcome to new ideas and new people. But if they want to defend this, go ahead. You think 2024 was bad? Democrats, this will be infinitely worse Believe you me. Meanwhile, the Buffalo mayor, all right? I love Buffalo. My daughter's a big Bills fan. All right, I'm a Bears fan, but if Bills win, I'll be okay with that because I'm a Josh Allen guy. I latch onto players on certain teams, even if they're not my team. Like the Chicago Bulls were never my team when I was a kid. Jordan got there, and then they became my team because of Jordan. Then when he left, they were no longer my team anymore. Josh Allen is that kind of guy. Anyway, going off on a tangent once again. The Buffalo mayor actually canceled the July 4th celebration in his city while celebrating the Somalians and their Independence Day in the city. Oh, boy. Talk about pandering. We saw this in Minneapolis as well. And here's his excuse for canceling said fireworks. It wasn't because of the weather. That's certainly for sure. This is cut number 3. Go.
We started raising real questions about, when you put these fireworks up, canisters drop down. And what they'll do them on the canal side, they're going to do them in the river on the barge.
And you couldn't do that?
I didn't want to do them on the barge in the river because we're already doing them August 2nd on the barge in the river.
Oh, August 2nd. What does that represent? I mean, are there even any holidays in August? Especially, America's 250 on July 4th, which only comes once. And that's why the president last night, being told by his staff, let's just do it on Sunday. Let's do it on July 5th. It's okay. Let's wait for the good weather. Let the big crowds come back. Nope. Trump said, I'm doing this. And he did it eventually at 11 p.m. in front of 175,000 people at the National Mall, who, again, were there for many hours in horrific weather and waited it out because they are the true patriots. Meanwhile, getting back to this whole 78-degree rule thing, CNN, of course, and Abby Phillip, who is by far the most pious, condescending, and quite frankly, annoying person on television, which really says a lot when you consider the competition in this regard, just because of the way she speaks down to people. She, of course, is defending Mamdani as far as the 78-degree rule, as far as setting your thermostat so we can make sure that the grid can handle this heat wave. Meanwhile, completely contradicting himself during his speech at the George Washington. And I'm sure that contradiction continues where every room in the halls of City Hall were below 70 degrees and even one below 60 degrees. So he's not playing by his own rules, which, of course, that's the way it goes. It's Gavin Newsom at the French Laundry all over again. But Abby Phillip here in CNN in her New York studio is called out directly by our friend Ben Ferguson for defending Mamdani's 78-degree rule. But there's only one problem in her particular environment on television. Cut number 8, go.
You support Ben, don't you live in Texas?
I live in Texas,
okay,
and
so
there's no way in hell we're putting it on 78 degrees. By the way,
that's why
just
your
to be
grid
clear,
falls apart.
It's not 78 degrees in here right now either. No one's going to abide by this. It's absurd.
But Ben, I'm just saying, this is a weird hill to die on.
No, it's a weird hill to die on. That my studio is at 64 degrees, and most studios are usually colder than the usual 68 because of the Klieg lights, and it's hot. It's very hot. Okay, so they have to turn it down a little bit more because people are wearing makeup, the whole hair thing, and whatever. So I can guarantee you Abby's temperature in her studio, and I was on CNN way back when, and they are cold studios, just like they are at MSNBC, or just like they are at Fox. It's just a thing. It's just the way TV works. Was probably at 64, 65 degrees. So if she wants to defend Mamdani, then tell your staff to turn your studio up to 78, and she won't do that. And then she calls it a weird hill to die on. Trust me, that is the most viral clip to come out of that show in many, many weeks, if not months. Good job, Ben Ferguson. Meanwhile, let's do another Joe Biden flashback. This is to July 4th of 2024. This is after that disastrous debate, and he's celebrating Independence Day. And he starts it off with a Christmas jingle of sorts in cut number 15. Go.
And we give thanks to our commander-in-chief, the president of the United States, the extraordinary president of the United States, Joe Biden.
Ho, ho, ho. Happy Independence Day.
Oh. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, man. Our extraordinary president. And you go, there's 100 things you could say there. God bless the USA. Anything. Ho, ho, ho. Happy Independence Day. That is just tremendous and sad on so many levels because he was president at the time. Not like the greeter at Walmart. This guy was a commander-in-chief of our armed forces. That's just incredible to me. Well, anyway, let's get back to more President Trump celebrating 250. Here he is in a video before his big speech at the Washington Mall last night that ended past midnight, by the way. Here's Trump celebrating 250 on social media and cut number 17. Go.
This is your favorite president, and I just wanted to wish all of my fellow Americans a very happy America 250. 250 years ago, we declared our independence from not-so-Great Britain. You know, they called them Great Britain. I said, they're not so great. You look at them, they're not so great. And I talked to my friend Tommy. Yeah. You may have heard of him, Tommy. Thomas Jefferson, I called him Tommy. And we wrote the Declaration of Independence together, life, liberty, and the pursuit of a happy meal. He said to me, sir, we can't do that. I said, okay, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He said, sir, that's brilliant, sir. And they adopted the Declaration of Independence. Over the course of 250 years, our country has accomplished many tremendous things. You look at it, we walked on the moon. We beat the communists, so we walked on the moon. And I said to Neil, Neil, one small step for man, one huge leap. He said, sir, I'm going to say giant, sir. I said, no, you have to say huge. He didn't do it. It would have been much better if he did it, but we walked on the moon. 250 years ago, we beat not-so-Great Britain. You know, they're not so great. And 250 years later, we defeated the algae in the reflecting pool. There's algae. And we defeated them. You know, the algae has no military. It has no navy. They're completely and totally defeated. And now you have TDS people, stupid people, when you look at it, vandalizing the reflecting pool. We're not letting it happen. But we are now waging war against communists in our own country. There's communists, the Democrats are communists, and they don't do very well with yours truly. Therefore, we are happy to announce that we're endorsing breathing. We love to breathe. You know what to do, you crazy leftist freaks. We also want you not to jump into any swimming pools with electronic devices, and most importantly, don't eat paint chips, right? They're not potato chips, don't eat them. And now we know what to expect. We're the greatest country in the history of the world, with the greatest president in the history of the world. We've made it 250 years, and we're going to make it 250 more. And I might be president by that time, too. So happy 250th birthday. God bless you. God bless America.
Okay. I have to say this legally, I guess, but that was not the president. If you listen to this show, you know that we love to play a guy named Sean Farish, who does the best Trump imitation of anybody out there. Yes, he sounds like the president, but the content is so effing hilarious. So thank you, Sean Farish, formerly of Long Island, now smart enough to be a resident of Nashville, Tennessee. Anyway, we wrap this puppy up on the Sunday morning Tunnel to Towers Foundation show in just a moment.
It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show.
I'm Serena Williams, and I'm healthier on Ro. I've lost 34 pounds in a year with GLP-1s, diet, and exercise. On Ro, you can access GLP-1 options, including the first FDA-approved GLP-1 pill for weight loss. Go to ro.co/journey to see if you qualify. 14 to 20% average weight loss in 1 year in non-diabetics with obesity or overweight with a weight-related medical condition versus 2.2% to 3.1% in placebo arm. RX only. To stay informed about serious side effects, go to ro.co/safety.
It's the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Now, here's Joe Concha.
And welcome back, everybody. So, obviously, hopefully you had access to a pool, a pond. A pond is good for me. It's got a nice natural spring, but hopefully you're able to cool off. A fire hydrant, doesn't matter, sometime during the course of this very hot weekend. And President Trump was actually asked in an interview on Friday about, the last time that he went swimming. He's obviously a big golfer, but Trump, has plenty of wonderful hotels with the nicest pools you could possibly imagine, including one at Mar-a-Lago, where he lives during the winter. Here's Trump on, the fact that bathing suits and him may not get along so well these days. And cut number 5, go.
Gerald Ford was actually a pretty good athlete. He was a football player, maybe Michigan, one of the good teams. And he was a man that says an outdoor pool was built for President Gerald Ford, and that's right on the side of the house. I don't get to use it. I don't know if I look good in a bathing suit. I haven't had a bathing suit in a long time. I'm too busy. I mean, it'd be nice. I'm looking at these pictures of people swimming, and I'm saying, I don't know. You know, my attitude is you're at the White House for a short period of time, and it's an honor to be here. And you should work for the people, right?
And the guy works, man. He's working all this July 4th. August, he rarely takes vacations. Democrats want to bring up the fact that, I think he's having some trouble physically and mentally. The audacity of these people after covering for a president whose brain turned to applesauce some time ago. And again, doing that speech at 11 o'clock at night when his advisor said, let's just do it tomorrow. And he said, we have to do it on July 4th, especially on America's 250. And that was just an awesome thing to hear. Let's hear from the president how he wrapped up his speech last night. And this was really something to behold in cut number whatever. Go.
But lightning will never stop you. And I want to thank everybody. And we love you all. And it's an honor to be your president. Thank you. God bless you all. God bless you all. Thank you.
And that ended well after midnight. There you go. All right. So I was thinking back, okay, as far as renditions of the Star-Spangled Banner, who did it best? And you can't help but think about Giants, Bills, Super Bowl, 1991, the big sombrero, the old Buck Stadium down in Tampa, and the late, great Whitney Houston. She can really stretch a note in the best way possible. So I'll give you the last half of it. But again, happy 4th, everybody. Here's Whitney Houston, 1991. If this doesn't give you chills, nothing will. Cut 16, go. I got hair standing on the back of my neck. I don't know about you. There are the flyovers, the American flags, and then the Giants pull off, I'd say, top 3 upset of all time in the Super Bowl. I mean, I know the number 1 was when they beat the Patriots when they were 17-0, and they beat Tom Brady and Randy Moss and the Patriots with Eli Manning and that great comeback, that impossible catch by Tyree. Burris back of the end zone, and they win that game 17-14. But boy, when they beat the Bills 20-19, Jim Kelly and the Bills beat the Raiders the week before that 51 to 3. Unstoppable offense. No one thought they had a chance. Giants win that game, and the fact that Whitney Houston kicked it off the way she did, I don't know. Listen to that in full today. Again, if you're celebrating July 4th, not only 250 on July 4th, but make it a July 4th weekend. Make it a July 4th week. And this has been a very special edition of the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. Thanks so much for joining us. We're back tomorrow night on WABC and on stations around the country, around the world at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, happy 250th America. I'm Joe Concha saying bye-bye.